Who invented the concept of Adivaravu, and why is it not there for Sanskrit shlokas?
Adivaravu வேதத்துக்கே இருக்கு. அதனால அது அனாதியா இருக்கு. வேதத்துக்கு இருக்குன்னு அனந்தராச்சார் சுவாமி புஸ்தகமே போட்டிருக்காரு அதுல அதை பத்தி. அதனால அடிவரவுன்றது புது கான்செப்ட் இல்லை. சமஸ்கிருத ஸ்லோகங்களுக்கு இல்லைன்னா நம்ம தான் வச்சுக்கணும். அதை நம்ம கன்வீனியன்ஸ் தான். கொஞ்சம் மெமரி இது பண்றதுக்கு ஈஸியா ஞாபகம் வச்சுக்கிறதுக்காக அடிவரவு தானே தவிர அந்த காலத்துலலாம் இதை பத்தி ரொம்ப இது பண்ணதில்லை. ஏன்னா நிறைய மெமரி ஸ்கில்ஸ்லாம் ரொம்ப எக்ஸ்ட்ராடினரியா இருந்தது அந்த காலத்துல. ஃபர்ஸ்ட் மெமரி எல்லாம் பூஸ்ட் பண்ணி ஸ்ட்ரெஸ் ஃப்ரீ ஆக்கி நல்ல ஃபுட்டு ஹேபிட்ஸ் நல்ல டிசிப்ளின் அதெல்லாம் வச்சு மெமரி என்ஹான்ஸ் பண்ணி வச்சிருந்தாங்க. அதனால அடிவரவுன்றது ஜஸ்ட் ஒரு பேக்கப் தான். அது இட் இஸ் நாட் நெசசரி. அதனால ஏன் we can have it. நம்ம வேணா வச்சுக்கலாம். அடிவரவு நம்ம ஸ்லோகங்களுக்கு நம்மளே வச்சுக்கலாம். அது பூர்வாச்சாரிய ஸ்லோகங்களுக்கு அது இருக்கணும்னு அவசியம் இல்லை. கவலப்பாயறதுன்னு சொல்லுவாங்க. ஒரு இன்னொரு இடத்துக்கு போறதுன்னு கவலப்பாயறதுன்னு சொல்லுவாங்க. ஏன்னா ஒரே மாதிரியே இப்போ உபதேச ரத்னமாலை எடுத்துட்டோம்னா ஆழ்வார்கள் எடுத்துட்டா ஆழ்வார்கள் வாழி அருளிச்செயல் வாழி, ஆழ்வார்கள் ஏற்றம் அருளிச்செயல் ஏற்றம், ஆழ்வார்களையும் அருளிச்செயல்களை தாழ்வான் என்பவர்கள் தான் அப்படின்னு ஆழ்வார்கள்னு சொன்னா 3 இடத்துல 3 ஆழ்வார்கள் வரும். அது மாதிரி வந்ததுன்னா சொல்லும் பொழுது அடுத்த ஆழ்வார்கள் வரும்போது அது என்னன்றது தெரிஞ்சுக்கணும்னா அப்போ அடிவரவை வச்சு ஞாபகம் வச்சுக்கிறதுன்னு ஒரு வச்சுட்டு இருக்கா. பட் நல்ல கண்டஸ்டம் பண்ணக்கூடிய ப்ராக்டிஸ் வந்துருச்சுன்னா அது தானா அந்த இடத்துல செட் ஆயிடும். அது மாதிரி ஜம்ப் ஆகாது.
அதே மாதிரி இந்த அடிவரவுல வேதங்களும் இருக்கு இல்லையா சுவாமி? இப்போ ஒருத்தர்கிட்ட கத்துக்கும் போது ஒவ்வொருத்தர் அதை வேற வேற மாதிரி சொல்லி கொடுக்குறா. அது ஸ்ட்ரிக்டாவா அதுதான் சொல்லி கொடுக்கணும், அதுதான் ஃபாலோ பண்ணணும்ன்ற அந்த மாதிரி எல்லாம் ஏதாவது?
அப்படிலாம் ஃபாலோ பண்ணணும், அப்படிலாம் ஃபாலோ பண்ணணும். அடிவரவுன்றது கன்வீனியன்ஸ் தான். அது ஒன்றும் ரொம்ப பெரிய பாட்ட பேதம்லாம் இருக்காது. கொஞ்சம் தான் மைனரா இருக்கும். ரொம்ப சிக்னிஃபிகன்ஸ் ரொம்ப இல்லை. இது இப்படிதான் இருக்கணும் அப்படிதான் இருக்கணும்.
During what time period did the Azhwars live?
Interesting question. Azhwars time period, generally we don't research on that, because only historians and other people, they do research. We consider Azhwars as those who are not mundane people like us. They are known as Adhikari Purusha. When we say Adhikari Purusha, for example, Vedas are eternal, which means from time immemorial they have been there. But in Vedas we have various rishis names mentioned, which we can find very easily. Vishwamitra, Atharva Angirasa, like Angirasa, Atharva, so many rishis names and all are mentioned. So if Vedas are from time immemorial, the question is, are these rishis also from time immemorial? And the answer is no. These are Adhikari Purushas. All Devatas, like Rudra, Brahma, they are not from time immemorial, except for the Paramatma, who is Brahman, and who is also very clearly known as Sriman Narayana. Except for him, everybody else is Adhikari Purusha, which means they are all Jivatmas who take up that particular role based on Bhagavad Sankalpa, and they execute their responsibilities, and they get that role based on either Bhagavad Kataksha or based on their Punya Papa. So if it is Devata Jati, they get that particular role by their Punya. When it comes to Azhwars, they don't get it. Nobody becomes an Azhwar by Punya. It's by Bhagavad Kataksha. But be it Bhagavad Kataksha or the grace of God, or be it based on our Punya, which is our virtues, these names such as Shattagopamuni all these azhwars names, they are all adhikari purushas, which means they come again and again. Some jivatma is selected in that particular time frame with the same name. They come with that name and they reveal the same Veda. So Thiruvaimozhi is revealed by Swamy Nammalvar. It was already revealed, it will be again revealed by another Nammalvar, which is Adhikari Purusha, which is what is clearly established in Acharya Hridayam by Swami Azhwargal Perumal Nayana. So because they are Adhikari Purushas, it is very improper to generally say that they appeared in this time frame. What we can try to think about is, when was the recent such appearance of Azhwars? We cannot say when did Nammalvar live. If we say only like in the between 5th and 10th century they lived, if we say, then it means that as if they have not appeared before. So the most recent appearance seems to be between the 5th and 10th century, which is what the present historians say. Anyway, that it's irrelevant to us. What they said and what they are matters. When they lived really does not matter, be it for acharyas or azhwars, or for any great people for that matter.
Adiyen. What is the difference between when we do the Namaskaram? There is a difference between the way girls do and the way boys do, men and women. Is there any significance towards doing Namaskaram?
There is a purpose for that. So instead of elaborating it, which is not really something that I have tried to get to know in depth, it is sAshttAnga Namaskaram, which is with all the Ashtangas, men should do Namaskaram, whereas women need not do like that. For various reasons. It has been told as per Shastras, told in Shastras, and it has been followed by Shishtachara. So better to follow it. I can find out and give you the technical reason why you have to do like that. But I would like to know what is the trigger for this question. Why it's not about discrimination. It's about the body design and the spiritual touch points and so many aspects. For that matter, even the pundras, if you see, women do not wear all the 12 pundras. They wear only up to this. So body structure, and women should not recite Vedas with swaras, because that might damage their the baby in the womb, in the their uterus. So says Sri Vedanta Acharya. There are so many aspects behind that. So those things do not really matter when we talk about our upliftment. These are all rituals. Rituals, it's better to just, simple rituals, but better to just follow it. It's not really worth our time to drill deep into it to understand why it is done like this. Only those who are interested in yoga abhyasa and tapas and get benefits out of other rituals, they should dwell deep into it. For us, we should try to focus more on our Atma Swarupa and Paramatma Swarupa. That is the nature of the God and the nature of our own self. Who are we, Atma? And what is the goal, purpose of our existence, which is Purushartha, and how do we, attain or accomplish that purpose, and what are all the hurdles or showstoppers, or what are all the things that stop us from accomplishing our purpose. These 5 things is what we have to understand. This is known as Artha Panchaka. So if we can understand the nature of God, Paramatma Swarupa, the nature of our own self, the soul, Jivatma Swarupa, the ultimate purpose, the Purushartha, and the means, which is Upaya, and the hurdles, which is the either Apaya or Virodhi, we call it as. So if we understand these 5 Swarupas, I think we are good to go. And let's focus more on understanding this in an elaborate fashion, so that that gives us, a right direction, which is liberation. Everything else is, small. It's okay if we can skip certain things. It doesn't matter. Not very significant. Some people might even ask, like, Nammalvar did not even take bath. He was sitting only under the tamarind tree. Did he wear Urdhva Mundram? Did he do Snanam? What are all the things he did? So if we start getting into these kind of questions, it's not very interesting in our pursuit. So let us focus on those which help us towards betterment and upliftment. These are small rituals that we can just follow. These are small rituals that we can just follow. Why men have to wear, veshti and kacham in a different way? Why women have to wear podavai like madisar? These things really doesn't matter. These are all shishtachara. Just follow it. It is not going to significantly disturb or contribute, either be against or contribute towards our, knowledge development. But following what our preceptors did, that is very important. It is giving respect to their achara. Acharyargal anevarum munna acharitha acharam thannai ariyada pesuginra vaarthagalai kettu marulade purvargal jeetha nilai thanai nechai ser. So says Swamy Poyilladamanavala. So let us just follow certain aspects as per our preceptors, but try to gather the wisdom, attain wisdom.
Nowadays in Kali Yuga, everyone is reciting Vishnu Sahasranam. But if you listen to great people during Kalakshepam or scholars listening to Upanyasam, then they are mentioning that ladies are not supposed to recite Vishnu Sahasranam. And it's been commonly recited by everybody nowadays. So is it right or wrong? So should we refrain, just like ladies are not supposed to recite Vedas, should we refrain from reciting Vedas, Vishnu Sahasranama?
Vishnu Sahasranama has 2 modes of operation or application. You can apply it in 2 modes. One, you can do it as Parayanam. The other one, you can use it as mantra. Vishnu Sahasranama is heavily used in mantra prayogams. So when you get into the mantra shastra, way of dealing with of using Sri Vishnu Sahasranama, then they have to do nyasa, anganyasa, karanyasa, and all those things. It has to come through an upadesha. You have to say the Rishi, Chandas, and Devata. Vedavyaso Bhagavan Rishihi Anushtup Chandah. Sri Mahavishnu Paramatma Sriman Narayano Devata. And then you have to chant. So during Grahana, the normal Vaidikas, they chant Gayatri Japam, and Srivaishnavas, not Paramaekantis, Srivaishnavas at the beginner level, they chant Vishnu Sahasranama for the Lokakshema. Still, they use it as mantra. The application is as mantra. When it comes to Parayanam, it is like a Sanskrit shloka. So you can also do Parayanam. If it is Parayanam, anybody can actually do for Gunanubhavam. So that is why Swami Parashara Bhattar gave us a wonderful thing, which is Bhagavad Guna Darpanam. He extracted and brought out all the beautiful gunas that are referred by those wonderful names, thereby giving us scope to do Arthanusandhanam for the Vishnu Sahasranama mantra. Until then, it was only a mantra with the Anganyasa, Karanyasa. So when you actually chant, we can skip this part where we say that, Amrutam Shudbhava Bhanuruti Bhijam Devaki Nantana Shishteti Shakti and Bhijam Shakti Yoni Astram Kilakam. These are all mantra shastra method of doing nyasa and digbandhana, Rutur Sudarshana Kala iti digbandha, and then doing it as a japam. So Vishnu Sahasranama japam is forbidden for those who don't have adhikaram for japam. When it comes to Parayanam, where we can do Arthanusandhanam, Swami Parashara Bhattar has given us wonderful opportunity. If he had not done that, probably nobody would be doing it. Nobody would, recite it as a Parayanam meant for Arthanusandhanam. So we have scope. So we have scope for doing Arthanusandhanam. So everybody can do it as a Parayanam. Just skip the Anganyasa and Nyasa part of it. Rishi, Chandas, Devata, those things you can skip when you do the Parayanam. I hope I'm clear. What I mean is, yes, everybody can do Parayanam of Sri Vishnu Sahasranama.
So is it the state of mind that we have to
it's not state of mind. It is just the mode of application. You should not think that we are doing mantra japam of Sri Vishnu Sahasranama and thereby we will get some powers or we can apply. Those things you should skip. It's only Arthanusandhana. That is enjoying, experiencing the beautiful attributes, gunas of divine. So it is Gunanubhava. That is what Parashara Bhattar has helped us with. He has given this wonderful grantham called Bhagavad Guna Darpanam.
Harishri, she has asked how to simply understand God. Who is God?
To simply understand, He is the creator of this world and we are created for His happiness. Yes, if we are creating something, we are going to use it. So He has created us, He has to use it. And when we misbehave, then He teaches us lesson and helps us to, course correct ourselves. Sometimes, He Himself comes and does the course correction, or sometimes He helps us to course correct ourselves through shastras and other means. Either ways, we are here for His happiness. He has created us for He has a purpose for this creation. It's known as Leela, Lokavattu Leela Kaivalyam. It's His playground. He has created everything and He has given the independence. He has created various types of bodies. And He's enjoying this. And He will enjoy as long as we follow the code of conduct. And when we misbehave, there will be a correction, teaching, lesson depending upon the grade of the misbehavior. Some people will be just tapped, some people will be slapped, some people will be, given a heavy dose of lesson. So different, the degrees depend on the degree of our misbehavior. Let us understand that we are here only to make Him happy. That is, worship Him and do what He has told, which is what is Shastras. Shruti Smritir Mamai Vagnya. How do we know what God likes? How do we know what God wants us to do? He has expressed that in Shastras. Those are all His orders. Mamai Vagnya. So Shruti, Smriti, the Vedas and the Dharma Shastras. Those are the things that we have to follow. If we follow, he will be happy. We have to diligently and honestly follow that. That's all.
Please kindly explain how to develop Bhakti for Alvar and Acharyar and Perumal in this busy student life. Please explain necessity of learning Tamil and Sanskrit.
How to develop Bhakti? Bhakti can be developed only by associating ourselves with those who already have the Bhakti developed. That's the only way. Not by reading something, or you can't develop Bhakti through those kind of things. It is only through satsangam, satvikaihi sambhashanam, by associating ourselves with satvikas who are bhaktas already. That's the only way we can develop Bhakti. Bhakti is contagious. Like corona, it will also spread. It spreads faster and it is for good, unlike this kind of diseases. So the next question is an interesting question about learning Tamil and Sanskrit. A language is not merely some sound to denote an object or an action. Typically in a language, we see only two things. One is a subject or an object. The other one is an action, which we call it as a verb. But a language comes along with what is known as a culture. Certain sounds, for example, which are not part of even those aksharas that are there in the grammar of the language. Certain sounds will convey certain things. And that would be part of that, the culture of those people who are using that language. So language is not merely a bunch of aksharas with some sounds and some set of rules. It comes with it, that culture. Unless you get involved and be part of that culture, you cannot experience the meaning of those words. You can't experience that. When we say Ayyo, Neelameni Ayyo Neregondadan engineer. Ayyo means, if we translate in English, it will be like alas. What is alas? I mean, I don't get the feel of that alas, because I'm not from the English culture. I don't get it. Same way, they won't get the meaning of Ayyo in their words. It's very difficult for them. So you have to learn that language and be part of that culture. That is very, very important. I know many srivaishnavas from north who had openly told me that we don't want moksha. We want one more birth where we would be born in the Dravida Desha, in the birthplace of the azhwars and Acharyas, and learn this language right from our birth, and then enjoy all their beautiful Vedas, the Dravida Vedas, and then only we should go to moksha. Until then, we don't want moksha. So I have heard many Sri Vaishnavas say that from the north. Such is the beauty of this. Same with the Sanskrit Veda. If you want to know the meaning of the real meaning of Sanskrit Veda, you have to learn the language. You have to be part of that culture. It's very important. I'll give you one example. In the Tirunavai Padigam, Alvar uses a word. It's a very beautiful word. Kurukum vahai undugalo odiyeke. He uses that word kurukum. So kurukum means nearing. It's very difficult to explain in other language in English. Kurukum means almost there, like that. So there is a record of an event where when Swamy Embramanar was going to the Kerala Divyadesams, Malenadu Divyadesams. When he was nearing Tirunavai, there was a local woman who was just passing by, and Swamy was inquiring, how far is Tirunavai? And she said, Kurukum. Oh, you are almost there. It's, nearby. She said, the moment she said that, he could correlate with what Alvar presented in his Arulichcheyal. Kurukum bahe undugalo kodiyerke. When he said Kurukum, if you just merely learn it as Tamil, Kurukum means what is it? But when he went to that local, that very place, very Divyadesam, where they are using that word in a particular context, and when he was able to get to understand that context, the joy is inexplicable. The joy that he had. Then he said, look at Alvar, the way he has, used the shabdas that has come out of his beautiful, lotus mouth. That such is the weightage of knowing that particular language and being part of that particular culture. It's just an awesome experience. And any kind of translation are only mere attractions for the beginners. And many times if you continue to learn and remain yourself only within the barriers of that particular other language that you know, then most often after some point of time you will start getting misled. So learn the languages. It is very important. We are learning all other useless languages for computers like C++, Java and other things, because we have interest in making money or getting some position and maintaining status and other things. If we really are looking forward for bhakti and prapatti, parabhakti, parajnana, parama bhakti and moksha, those kind of extraordinary experiences and salvation, I think we should understanding the seriousness of this janma, this birth, which you won't get it again if you miss this chance, because you cannot get a better janma than a srivaishnava janma. So you can't go and demand Perumal that give me one more chance. You won't give. Given a chance, what you have done. So use this sensibly and try to learn, be part of. That's why I keep telling that come back to our country, come back to our place where the azhwars have walked, where the acharyas have walked. Somewhere or other, their padaduli, the dust or the soil that has been blessed by their lotus feet is still there. That sambandha will actually help us to, wind up everything within this birth. So be part of this culture. There are always so many other factors. Throw away all those factors. There are good things. Let us focus on only good things. It is up to us. If we connect to the right thing, Perumal will definitely bless us with wonderful, development and knowledge and whatnot.
When the kids learn Arulichcheyal, what are the basic, some people, they have no idea, they just register the kids to learn Arulichcheyal. Nowadays, everyone is teaching Arulichcheyal. Some kind of, for just like a satsangam kind of thing they are doing. But what is the basic qualification that the kids have to develop as far as Anushttanam is concerned to learn Arulichcheyal?
In today's world, it's okay to learn. Only thing is Thiruvaimozhi alone you should have undergone sAshttAnga. Otherwise, you should not learn Thiruvaimozhi, because Thiruvaimozhi is directly Veda. For the rest of the Muvairam, the other 3,000, you can learn. There is no need of any qualification at all. That's the beauty of Arulichcheyal. You don't need qualification. But it is only for the purpose of beginners that you just memorize it. You have to undergo a proper training from erudites and scholars and stalwarts on Arulichcheyal artham. That is what they call it as kalakshepam. You have to attend kalakshepams in order to understand what is the anushtana for that. Basic anushtanams, you can always say that you should not, once you get into Arulichcheyal, don't even think about any other god likes. When I say god likes, devatas, devatantarams, kula devams. There's so much of confusion about the kula devam. Kula devam and all this culture and all came only within few hundred years. The only kula devam for azhwars is Perumal, Emmanayan kula devame. And the only kula devam for us is Azhwar. Adyasya naha kulapatehe vakula bhiramam. No other kula devam is there once you are into srivaishnava birth. So forget about all those things. Some people might say, no, we have been following it from last 3 generations, 4 generations. Cut it off. If it has been followed, it is wrong. Forget it. Only focus on Azhwars, Acharyas, and Perumal and Bhagavatas, that is Adiyars, srivaishnavas. They are our kulapatis. And ensure that you are very humble towards all of them. Perumal, Azhwar, Acharyas, and srivaishnavas and Bhagavatas. Be very humble. Fear to do any apachara, that is fear to misbehave with them, or think wrong about them, or find fault in them, or yell at them. Any such thing you should fear. If you do any such thing, you are distancing yourself from God. Perumal will just put you off. They may be wrong, they may be bad, whatever it is, that's not for you to judge. Be humble, polite. If there is something that they are doing against Sampradaya, stay away from them. But don't criticize and comment and talk about them and eat and digest all the negativities. That is one thing that you should fear. Bhagavata apacharam. Fear that. Whoever has this Urdhva Pundram and who has undergone Samashina, respect them. And if you think their activities are not in line with our tradition, distance yourself. Don't go very near. Stay at a distance. If you happen to see them, do a Namaskaram, humbly, see the Antaryami inside and say Pallandu and keep moving. That's one thing very important. Same with when it comes to Devatas, you have to respect them. They are there for a purpose. They are part of Jagat Vyapara. But you don't have any business in terms of worshipping them, seeing Perumal inside Devatas, going to their temples and then saying, I can see Perumal inside them. That's not our business. We will not mock, tease or criticize those people who are worshipping the Devatas. That's not our job. They have a purpose. They have followers. They have temples. They have their own shastras like agamas, whatever it is. It's okay. None of our business. We have no business there. That's it. So stay away from Devatantra worship under the gaze of Kuladevam, whatever it is. No such Kuladevam, Badipadu, and all those things are all new. Very recent. Stick to only Sriman Narayana and the Guru Parampara. That's it. That's the basic Anushtana for Arulichcheyal. Marandum Purandora Mantar. So these are the two main qualities. One is Marandum Purandora Mantar. The other one is Pailum Tiruvadiyar Everelum Avagandir, Pailum Pirapedadori, Emmayalum Paramare. That is Adiyars, Acharyas, Azhwars. They are our Kulapati, they are our Kuladevam, they are our gods for us. So be very humble and you should fear to do even a small apachara against them. These are the two things that you have to follow.
And Ahara Niyamam, is that any specific for the kids also?
This Ahara Niyamam is very basic. That is immaterial of whether they learn Arulichcheyal or not. For if somebody wants to be Sattvic, you have to go for Sattvic way of food, which is very clearly in detail explained in Srimad Bhagavad Gita. So stop having this coffee, tea, and other drinks which are made outside, chips, biscuits, all this nonsense. Completely cut it off. Homemade food, all those things you can make. You can make, biscuits if you want, if you really want. See, what is needed for the health of the body is what we should consume, not for the taste of the tongue. Once you start giving it, and it will make you an addict for that. So food control is the first basic control for any Sri Vaishnava. Stop eating anything from outside. Parannam paramachatru. Anything that is sold outside, that is bought for money, that's not going to do good for sattvikas. That doesn't mean hotels are bad. That doesn't mean those who are selling the biscuits are bad. That is, they are selling it for somebody else. It's for a different purpose. So we should not talk ill of them. Whether it is needed for us, no, it's not needed for us. So follow Ahara Niyama, and we can have a separate session on Ahara Niyama. I think I have shared some text also in the Telegram channel, and some audio as well. Ahara Niyama is very basic. You should consume only homemade food, and at home you have to ensure that you stick to only sattvic ahara. No onion, no garlic, no drumstick, no radish, no tomato, right? All this spicy masala, this, that, these are all completely bad. And stale food, pungent food, food that has foul smell, all these things we should stop consuming. We should only consume fresh food, not refrigerated food. Refrigerated food, upon heating again, becomes more poisonous. Tapta tapta visham samam. The more you heat, if you heat already heated one, if food was heated and if it cools down, if you heat it again, it becomes poison. Tapta tapta visham samam. So eat always fresh food, and don't waste food, and eat quality food. Avoid all types of the Western vegetables like beetroot, carrot, potato, tomato, all these things, beans, all these things. We have so many native vegetables like lady's finger, brinjal. White brinjal alone is forbidden. Otherwise, the purple color brinjal you can have. Plantain, that is bananas, raw banana you can take. You have so many other vegetables, green vegetables, snake gourd, bitter gourd. I can send you a list in English. Consume that after serving to Perumal. And Perumal is not some alien who you will just do aradhana only once in a day and then keep him in the box. If you eat twice a day, you have to do aradhana twice a day. At least sangraham, you should at least serve it to him and eat. It's not that morning I worshipped Perumal and did aradhana. Morning I served him. Evening I will make food and without serving him and I will eat. It's not like that. Every time you eat, you have to serve it to Perumal and eat. Either through aradhana, which is ritualistic, or if you don't have that opportunity, do manasika aradhana. Meditate upon Perumal and Guru Parampara and serve it to the Guru Parampara and then eat. But whatever it is, don't drink even water without serving Perumal. Everything should be served.
So I think I received these questions from someone, and some I know the answer somewhat, but wanted to get you their insight also. So the questions were, why is Ramanusa Nootrandhadhi included as a part of Nalaira Divya Prabandham Arulichcheyal? Ramanusa Nootrandhadhi, why it was included? அது ஒரு கேள்வி.
Let me address that first. We'll go one by one so that it's easy for me for others also to understand along with the question if we say the answer. So shall I go ahead with the answer for this?
Yes, Adi.
Okay. Why Ramanuja Nootrandhadhi is added as part of Arulichcheyal. So first we have to understand who is Ramanuja. Ramanujacharya is Perumal. First we have to understand that. If we think that he is not Perumal, it is sad. That is all our Oranvadi Acharyas, Purvacharyas, all our Purvacharyas who are in Guru Parampara, up to Swamy Poyillada Manavalu Mamuni, all are actually Perumal. I Jananyacharya Swamy very clearly says that Acharya, that is that kind of a Jagatacharya, those Acharyas, they are defined as those who are a combination of an extraordinary Jivatma and Paramatma. Vilakshana Atma Vishishta Bhagavat Tattvam. Which means for Nammalvar, Perumal might be supreme. But only through Nammalvar we are seeing Perumal. We have to understand that. And Perumal, he himself could not transform us. So he took the form as Nammalvar, which means Nammalvar was a Jivatma in whom Perumal also took part. It's a joint venture. Right from Periyapratya, Perumal and Periyapratya is a Mithunam. Right from there, every Acharya from Zainamadaliya, Nammalvar, in everybody, Perumal is present. Bhagavad Amsham is present. So after the dawn, entry of Nammalvar, when Arulichcheyals were revealed, Madhurakavi Alvar revealed the Kadinachultam, which is in praise of the God he saw, who is Nammalvar. So after such extraordinary avatara, the next such avatara was Emperor Manar. So when Emperor Manar came, Thiruvaimozhi composed this Ramanusa Nootrandhadhi after he was blessed by Swamy Kurattalvan. So it is actually Kurattalvan who had composed it through Amudanar. You should not think that Thiruvaimozhi actually composed it. Because Amudanar says that I have no idea about, Bakthi illada in Pavinanjal Muyalgindanan. And then immediately in the next pasuram he says, Moliyai Kadakkum Perum Puharan. Panjama Kurumbam, Kuliyai Kadakkum Nam Kurattalvan. So only because of Kurattalvan's grace, Amudanar was able to compose Ramanuja Nootrandhadhi. So Ramanuja Nootrandhadhi, we have to assume that or understand that it was actually composed by Kurattalvan only, by his grace. And for Kurattalvan, Emperor Manar was Perumal. As simple as that. Emperor Manar was Perumal. He was in Charmapura Nishtha. Mudaliyandan, Kurattalvan, Embar, Arulala Perumal, Emperor Manar, Vaduganambi. They were all in Charmapura Nishtha. Then why did they sing in praise of Perumal? It is only in gratitude. It's called as Upakara Smriti. So in order to thank Perumal for having shown Emperor Manar to us, Kurattalvan composed Panchastava. Otherwise, for them, the walking God is Emperor Manar. So if you see Ramanuja Nootrandhadhi, after that Kurattalvan's pasuram, the next pasuram is Varuttum Puravirul Matra Em Poigai Piran Marayim Kuruthin Kurulayim Shantamizandayam Kuti Ondrathiritu Andaritha Thiruvilakkai Tan Tiruvulatte Iruttum Paraman Ramanushan Em Irayavane, he declares there that he is my God. Until then, to just pacify Swamy Emperor Manar, that Emperor Manar did not like Amudanar singing the songs, pasurams in praise of Emperor Manar. So until then, he was telling that, Maran Adibanindu Indavan, Kurayal Piranadi Kil Villadavan Van, Kurattalvan Sharan Kudiya. Until then, he was saying that. After that, he revealed the truth. He said, Ramanushan M. Irayavan. So, Kadinachultambu being inserted in the Arulichcheyal means that until Kadinachultambu, other avatarams were celebrated. Once Kadinachultambu came, it is apparent that more than any other avatara, Nammalvar's avataram is great. So, Sri Vachana Bhushana Divya Shastram completely establishes the supremacy of Acharyas only based on continued Chirtam. And once Abhivadhanam came, then at least continued Chirtam was inside the Namah-padam. So it was talking about the seshatvam, Dadiya seshatvam, that kashtaya arkakudiya, that is the highest grade of the Dadiya seshatvam is Acharya seshatvam or Charmaparvanishtha. When it comes to Ramanuja Nootrandhadhi, which is at the end, it is like the Ayapadam of the Tirumantram. So it says only Ramanuja. Kayyil Kaniyana Kannanai Kaati Tharilam Undan Meyyil Pirange Shirandri Vendilam. Saying that the word Narayana itself actually denotes only Ramanujacharya and only Ramanujacharya. So what we have to understand is it was Ramanujacharya who actually, Perumal came in different avatars, we say, right? And the last and most prominent and successful avatar was Emperumana of Ramanujacharya. So Ramanuja Nootrandhadhi should be there in Arulichcheyal actually. Why other Pasurams are in Arulichcheyal? That is the question that we should ask.
Another answer that Adiyen received was like Namperumal gave this Ajna during the Saptavaram of the Brahmotsavam, Swami.
Who is Namperumal to give Ajna, first of all? Namperumal gave Ajna so that it can be recited in the Vidi, because when Emperumana was there, he did not allow, he will not allow Ramanuja Nootrandhadhi to be recited in the Vidi in par with Arulichcheyal. So in order to override that, Namperumal actually gave the order.
Yes. So I think your previous answer was obviously very, very good and elaborate. And I gave a very simple answer to the person who asked me the question through another person. It is Namperumal Ajna. Okay.
Namperumal's Ajna was to actually recite it in the Vidi.
Yeah.
When related to
when Emperumana was there, that was the significance.
Yes,
that
related
to
same Adiyen Swamy. Sorry for the interruption. Related to moving to the next question, before moving to the next question, related to same Ramanusa Nootrandhadhi, is it there is a saying that some people are saying Ramanusa Nootrandhadhi has to be taught only for the people just like Thiruvaimozhi, only for those who had sAshttAnga. Like, is that true?
Ramanuja Nootrandhadhi is Prapanna Gayatri. Unless somebody is a Prapanna, they cannot chant that Gayatri. As simple as that. So if somebody has to be Prapanna, he has to undergo sAshttAnga. It's known as Prapanna Gayatri. But you can always, relax rules, because after all, Abhivadhanam wanted everybody, whoever is interested in moksha, they should get this opportunity. So if we restrict the Nootrandhadhi that is in place of him to only certain people, then see, there are two yojanas, that is viewpoints. One is, if somebody is so interested in Ramanuja Nootrandhadhi, learning Ramanuja Nootrandhadhi, why not undergo Panchasamskaram? Why they should say that, why should I undergo Panchasamskaram? Why not Ramanuja is for me? If Ramanuja is for you so much, and if the Ramanuja Nootrandhadhi is saying that Ramanujacharya is the best form of Sriman Narayana, you better undergo Panchasamskaram, as simple as that. So if somebody is born in Srivaishnava family, right from the childhood, we know that they are going to undergo Panchasamskara, then there is nothing wrong in teaching those kids Ramanuja Nootrandhadhi to those kids. But if others are asking that why without Panchasamskara, why we should not learn these things, then all that we have to say is, what is the purpose?
So there are people who says no, the women do not have a right to recite Thiruvaimozhi, but at the same time,
Is it there in any Pramana where it says that Thiruvaimozhi should not be recited by women?
That's why I'm saying. That is why I think anyone. My view is, as much as I have noticed and observed also, anyone.
Let me be very clear. It should not be my view or your view on that. What Purvacharyas have told.
So it is.
Let
Yes.
me explain. Thiruvaimozhi is Vedam. Thiruvaimozhi is Vedam. Thiruvaimozhi cannot be recited. Cannot be recited. Should not be recited by anybody other than Arayar. Anybody other than Arayar in temples in those days.
Yeah.
Because they are known as Thiruvaimozhi Vinapam Shaivar. During Embirmana's time, there were 700 Arayars as per Guru Parampara Prabhava. And even today, in Srirangam Periperumal's temple, nobody other than Arayars can recite Thiruvaimozhi in front of Perumal. In front of Perumal.
Adiyen.
Vinnapam can be done, Veda Vinnapam can be done only by Arayars. It is known as Veda Vinnapam. It is Vedam, Thiruvaimozhi is Vedam. Now, that is for Raja Darbar, that is the palace.
Yes.
When it comes to home, Thiruvaimozhi, yes, it is Vedam, but Arulgundu Ayiram in Tamil Padina. The very reason why it came in Tamil itself was only for us to do the Anushttanams and all those things. So, those who have undergone Panchasamskara, like the Samskrita Veda for which Upanayanam is important, for Thiruvaimozhi, Panchasamskaram is important for Dravida Veda. Without Panchasamskaram, one should not learn Thiruvaimozhi. That's the rule. That's the sAshttAchara. We should not be debating on based on our views. So there is no debate on that. That only those who have undergone Panchasamskara should be taught Thiruvaimozhi. But it is not specific to a particular caste or a gender.
Yeah. Adiyen. Then
to be recited at home. When it comes to temple has its own rules. Only those people can recite.
Yes.
In those days, only Aryars were, reciting. Later on, when the Aryars families and they diminished, then the local so-called Adhyapakas. Adhyapaka is actually teacher. So in those days, where the Patashalas, Vadya, teachers, they were known as Adhyapakas. There is no some special name called as Adhyapaka for anybody. If somebody knows Nala Prabandam, they are not Adhyapakas. Adhyapaka is teacher. They were Patashala Vadyas who were teaching Ubhaya Vedam, both Sanskrit Vedam and Tamil Vedam. They used to be part of this real Goshti and other things. They were known as Adhyapakas. Then over a period of time, when the Aryars disappeared or the families diminished, then somebody has to recite. So that responsibility was taken over by Adhyapakas. Thiruvallikeni Thirupan Perumal Arayar was there, Thirukannapuram Arayar, Thirupillai Thirunariyur Arayar, Varamtharum Perumal Arayar in Kanchipuram. They have disappeared.
Then yes, Miss Swamy.
I heard from someone that once we have Panchasamskaram, when we see elders, we don't have to say Abhivadhanam. Is this true? It's an interesting question. We should know why Abhivadhanam is done actually. Why we have to tell Pravaram. It's an introduction. When somebody sees elders, it is an introduction that I belong to this particular lineage, the lineage of these rishis. And I belong to, this Shaka, this Sutra, Grihya Sutra. And this is my Sharma or Varma or Gupta, whatever that name. It's introduction basically. And paying obeisance and introducing yourself to receive the blessings. We should understand the purpose of Panchasamskara. Panchasamskara is to distinctly identify us, those who are only focused on moksha, to be in unison with Lord Sriman Narayana. So, without knowing Panchasam, without knowing the purpose, and without following the practices that are meant to be after Panchasamskara, if we just simply follow, undergo Panchasamskara, then we might end up with this kind of questions. Should we do Abhivadana or not? Once you have undergone Upanayana, when you worship elders, you have to respond with humility and you have to pronounce your pravaram. That is, you have to do Abhivadana. Once you have undergone Panchasamskara, once you have the sAshttAnga done, you have to remember the Villiputtur Bhagavat. Villiputtur Bhagavat. He was in Thiruvaimozhi. Adyaf Prabhuti He Lokana Yuyam Yuyam Vayam Vayam. He was the first one to declare openly that you are different, we are different. You know to whom he was saying this? He was saying this to the Brahmin community only. Within the Brahmin community, he was a Brahmin. There was the other Brahmins as well. To them, he told, from today you are different and we are different. Why you are different? You are simple Vaidikas. You will worship all Devatantaras. And you will do karma. We worship only Sriman Narayana. We do only Kaikarya, not karma. We do everything as Bhagavad Agnya Kaikarya. So it's better that we divide between ourselves through this identification that you are Kevala Vaidikas and we are Parama Vaidikas. So Yuyam, you are you and we are we. We are different. Such a very clear, open declaration was done, saying that Grama Kulladigalal varum per anartha hetu. If you really understand the purpose of sAshttAnga, Panchasamskaram and sAshttAnga, and if you know about who you are Atma. Pronouncing your Rishi's name which is given to this body, in the next birth, what Rishi's name you will tell. Which means you don't know who you are. Once you know who you are, you wouldn't be thinking about telling Abhivadana. You will say, I am Atma, Ahankaram Arpe Tudetal, Atma Adiyada Ver, Adiyan and Ride. The very word that should come out of your mouth is Adiyen. Now then why do we say Ramanuja Dasan? The Ramanuja Dasan has to be told only because you should remember that you have become this Adiyen only through Ramanujacharya. Only because of his grace. Otherwise, only a few selected families were like that. It became open for all only through his grace. So, in gratitude, a natural flow of, the response of gratitude from us will make us say Ramanujacharya's name. Then we say that till now we were thinking that we are Adiyen, which means the slave or the servant of Perumal. But I understood that this so-called Adiyen is actually Ramanuja's Adiyen. So we say Adiyen Ramanuja Dasan. I am not Dasan for the so-called Perumal or somebody, because there are Dasas for that Perumal. Nammalvar is there, and for Nammalvar, Nathamunigal is there. For Nathamunigal, Uyok Kondar Manakal Nambi, like that, everybody is there. I am the Dasa of Ramanujacharya. That incarnation of Perumal. Period. So we say Adiyen Ramanuja Dasan. Now the question is, how would we respond to those elders who are merely Brahmins, but they are not Vaishnavas? Just do only Hastanjali and leave. That is the only obeisance we can do. Because once we have undergone Panchasamskara, we should not actually do any sAshttAnga Namaskara to anybody other than those who have undergone Panchasamskara. This is the rule. This is the rule. It's not a dogma. The rule comes out of an understanding of who we are. If there are people who are worshipping other devatas, the devatas themselves are Nitya Samsaris. That is, who are going to put you in this world again and again. If this person is worshipping that devata, then he is also going to be here, taking birth again and again. And Srivaishnava is a person who doesn't want birth. Now, what kind of Asirvadam or benediction you will get from this person? Because the tapas that you have, the penance that you have is more. The penance of Prapanna is more than the penance of Samanyas. And Shastras very clearly says one should pay obeisances only to those people who are at a higher penance level, who are having more penance than us. If the person whom I am saying is having more tapas than me, I should prostrate or pay obeisance. I should not be paying obeisance to everybody in a formal way. For rest of the people, see the Antaryami inside and do a Hastanjali, Namaskara, Sarvantaryami. That is more than sufficient. That is what we should do. And if they say, what is this culture? You are not, doing sAshttAnga Namaskara in front of all our elders, whoever it may be, for the age you have to give respect. You can say that respect is not merely in falling down. Respect is not merely in falling down. Respect should be in the heart. In English culture, they only shake hands. They don't do this even. Does it mean they don't have respect? So to give respect, you should do Hastanjali. If you want to receive benedictions, which is Ashirvada, then only you have to do sAshttAnga Namaskaram. Namaskaram is not merely paying respect. So if you want to do Namaskara, do it to those people who are at a higher penance level. That means only to srivaishnavas. There's nothing wrong. It is not disrespect for others. Respect is different from Namaskara, the sAshttAnga Namaskara. sAshttAnga Namaskara you do only to get yashas, Ashirvada. I have not taken Panchasamskaram. Can I listen to Thiruvaimozhi? If you love Thiruvaimozhi so much, yes, you can listen. Nothing stops you from listening. But using that love as the trigger, fight for getting the Samashranam done at the earliest.
Adiyen Swamy. One more question is like, when we invite people for Seva Kalam at our home, like some of the, if the Goshti people, some of them, if they are younger, they hesitate, like when we do the sAshttAnga Namaskaram, as they said, if we do it, some of the people who are younger, they hesitate to stand there, and they are saying, you are older than us, so you cannot do Namaskaram. And what is the procedure, like how it has to be done?
Between Sri Vaishnavas, there's no age barrier, no gender barrier. You have to pay obeisances, because when two Sri Vaishnavas meet, immediately Perumal thinks that they are going to talk about me. And he comes and actually stands in between them. So they are actually worshipping only Perumal. And so you have to worship. You have to pay obeisance, which means you have to do sAshttAnga Namaskara, irrespective of the age. When it comes to Yati Dharmam, actually Yatis also should prostrate. If they feel the Prapanna Dharma, they should do it. But unfortunately, for the Kevala Vaidikas or the normal Vaidikas, when they see this, they feel that because in the Kevala Vaidika community, this concept is not there. Age concept is there, tapas concept is there, as I told before. Only those who have higher penance, you have to pay obeisance like that. So if Yatis are falling at the feet of, other ashrama people, they feel hurt that their practices are not followed and people are misleading. So in order to maintain loka sangraha, Yatis do not prostrate before others other than Yatis and Perumal temple. But if it is out of bhava prakasha, that is ragha prayukta, that if once you see a person, if you think that that person deserves to be worshipped, you can be an Yati or you can be anybody, just fall at the feet. Nothing, nobody can stop that, because it is not Vaidheyam. It is not something that comes as part of the rule. It is known as exception. When somebody is doing it out of utmost love, you cannot tell them that you have to apply your mind, because that utmost love or ragha prayuktama varudhilla, that overrides the intellect part of it.
Adiyen எம்பெருமானாரோட சரித்தையிலும் வருது, அந்த குழந்தைகள் மண்ணுல வந்து விளையாடிட்டு இவருக்கு கொடுக்கும்போது எம்பெருமானார் வந்து அது இது பண்ணி அங்கீகாரம் பண்ணிக்கலாம்.
So Srivaishnavas, when they see each other, they have to do Dandavat Pranamam. Dandavat is Danda means stick. If you just leave the stick, how it will fall? You should fall like that. You should not see the ground, whether it is dirty, this, that, and slowly do it. You have to just fall so fast. Such should be your. That's why it is called as, Dandavat Pranamam. Dandavat means Vat means like. Danda means stick. Like a stick, you have to fall at the feet. Veratra maram bole. When the roots are cut, how the tree falls. That's how you have to fall at the feet of. Sharvindri nindra enakku. தொண்டு பட்டவர்பால் ஷார்வின்றி நின்ற எனக்கு.
அடே இன்னும் ஒரு கொஸ்டின் இருக்கு சுவாமி, அதை கேட்டுட்டு இந்த செஷன் முடிச்சுக்கலாமா தேவரே? என்ன கேட்டிருக்கா அப்படின்னா, should we blame our failures always on prarabdha? Like a student who got bad marks in an exam because of not studying, is it justifiable for the student to blame on prarabdha being bad rather than a lack of his own efforts?
See, by putting on the blame, what are you getting? Two things you have to understand. Purpose. If you have done something wrong and you have missed an opportunity, by blaming your prarabdha, you have still lost the opportunity. But not blaming on prarabdha, if you have put your fullest effort, which is in your hands, whatever is your fullest effort, after putting your best effort, if something does not click, then you can say this is Bhagavad Sankalpa, that is based on your karma. This is what you have been destined. But if I don't even write the exam and say that, see, because of prarabdha, I felt like I don't know how to write the exam. Does it make sense? No. So it is not about blaming. It is about how you understand prarabdha. Everywhere, karma has its own impact. Karma has its own impact on every action that you do. Your previous karma will influence. It will have an impact. At the same time, that impact should be given credit only after you put your best, because there is also the other side of the coin. If everything is only based on your karma, then whatever you do has no free will at all. So once you started one karma at the beginning, the next karma is based on that karma, then everything else is like you are a puppet of karma. You are neither a puppet of karma nor a puppet of God. God has given you this free will blended with God's sankalpam plus your karmic effect. All the three work on you. You have to remember that. So you put in your best effort, not simply some lame efforts and then say that, what I can do. I did my best. It's prarabdha. You should not say that. So put your best effort. And despite that, when you don't get it, the samadhana, that is in order to console you, the explanation given. It's not merely to console, the real explanation that will console you. The explanation is not given to console you. The explanation given will console you. You have to understand the difference. The explanation is prarabdha or the karma.
Adiyen, ஒரே ஒரு last question Swamy. People have different type of thirumans. Some people have skinny thirumans, some people put thick thirumans. I have seen the same in ladies also. Some put above or below forehead. So is there a different way to put thirumans for each divya desams?
Not really. Actually, thiruman, what is this width? What is the height? What is the shape? What is the material? Whether this should be there? All these things are defined in the Shastras. Parashara Vishita Paramadharma Shastra tells even the length, like 4 angulams, 8 angulams, 10 angulams, like that, 12 angulams. It even tells that. So even the length, height, and all, width, height, everything is mentioned. We have to follow But unfortunately, people go by what they like, and some people feel shy that others will make fun of them and things like that. But otherwise, there is a standard. There is a standard how you have to put Tirman. There is a standard, very clear standard. If we can follow Shastras, nothing like that. But today, because the differences are already there, for example, if you try to follow my Tirman, your Acharya might not like it. So give respect for those sentiments as well, and wear Tirman at least to begin with. Later on, at some point in time, when you get into Anubhuti mode, when you start getting realized, then whatever Tirman you wear is what is right. And it will be definitely the same as Purvacharyas, because Purvacharyas will not deviate from Shastras, and once you get the grace of them, and once you get that Anubhuti, definitely you won't violate Shastras, you will only follow Shastras. Until then, wear Tirman. Maintain some decorum. Don't get into the bad books of people around you, your parents or your Acharya or whoever it is.
Adiyen Swamy. Someone has directly texted Devrir a question. Not sure.
Adiyen, I am learning Thiruvaimozhi from a guru who was told by his guru that learning will make them get Panchasamskaram with Alvar Kripai. He told us to get Panchasamskaram as soon as possible. Because of COVID, it is getting delayed to go to India. Is it okay? My guru believes all the Sishyas will get, and Alvar will take care of filtering them. Can you let us know if this is okay? This is not okay. Undergo Panchasamskaram and learn Thiruvaimozhi. Because once this is, see, just because one person is very interested and they are deserving, it doesn't mean that everybody will be deserving. Once we give this kind of, allow this exception will become the norms. Then everybody will say, why Panchasamskaram at all? I have learned Thiruvaimozhi. I know Nammalvar. I know his heart. That's more than the patient. No, that's not how it is. You have to undergo Panchasamskaram in order to learn Thiruvaimozhi. Period. No matter who that guru told, whatever it is. This is what is sAshttAchara. Our sAshttAchara, our Purvacharya Sampradaya is you have to undergo Panchasamskaram to learn Thiruvaimozhi.
Adiyen Swamy. Srimate Vishnushtarya Manonandra Hetave Narendra Sundarye Bodhaya Nityamangalam. Srimate Ramyajamatra Munindraya Mahatmane Sri Rangavasine Bhuyat Nitya Sri Nityamangalam. Abhagatamadamanaihi Antimopayinishtahi Adhikata Paramatehi Atpakamanapekshaihi Nikilajana Suhuddivihi Nishchita Krodalobaihi Varavara Muni Vrittehi Astame Nitya Yogaha. Srimate Ramanujaya Namaha Srimad Varavara Muniye Namaha